Hi, Ray Otis here with you to explore the songs and personalities of the great sounds, the greatest hits of the last 50 years. Herb Alpert is our featured guest this week. He'll tell us how he developed all those hits with the Tijuana Brass.
My role as the co-owner of A&M is I've always looked at the company from the artist point of view. Because I did record for a major artist for a major label for about a year, and I realized that it was a little cold. It wasn't as comfortable as I felt it should have been. And I thought if I ever had my chance to have my own company, I would certainly pay more attention to the artist. I mean, the artist is the heartbeat of the business. Lawyers and accountants and all those people, secretaries and promotion and distributors, they come after the fact. The fact is, show me a good record, and I'll show you a good record company.
I'm Ray Otis. Our featured guest, Herb Alpert, first took an interest in music when he was in school.
I didn't think I was going to be a professional musician. When I was in high school, I got together with a couple other musicians, and I found that we were able to make a pretty good living doing that, playing on weekends, weddings and little parties and school affairs. And then when I was drafted in the Army in the 50s, I really got out of doing everything by being in the 6th Army Band in Presidio, San Francisco. So it really came in handy, and it was fun. I always enjoyed playing the instrument, but I never thought of myself as a professional. I didn't think I was going to be traveling around the country and blowing the horn night after night.
When featured guest Herb Alpert sought a new setting from the Tijuana Brass, he worked with a jazz soloist.
I had done some records with Hugh Masekela. We were combining this African and Tijuana brass sound, and I had some fun playing with him.
And one of the things Herb and Hugh got together on was Skokian. You're listening to The Great Sounds. Feature guest Herb Alpert has a simple system for picking hits.
And I just go by gut feelings. And I don't claim to have the answer. I don't think there's any common denominator for what's a hit record or what's not. You just got to follow your gut. Years back in 1965, nobody thought I should release Taste of Honey. They felt it was too long and you couldn't dance to it, and it defied all the rules. You stopped and started in the middle, and it's the best advice from all the program directors that I knew in those days, and the disc jockeys, radio people, promotion people, distributors. No, don't release that record. Go with Third Man Theme, which was on the other side. And I kept saying, no, it's Taste of Honey.
Feature guest Herb Alpert has a particular view of just what the Tijuana Brass is.
The Tijuana Brass to me is not a group as much as it is a sound. Working with the tape recorders and putting my trumpet on top of the horn, sometimes several times, sometimes one time, sometimes not at all, sometimes playing in unison with myself, sometimes detuning the instrument, playing with the sound. So the Tijuana Brass, for me, is a sound.
Feature guest Herb Alpert has a very special approach to his music.
Well, I think of music as a picture, and I've always tried to make interesting pictures. I think maybe one of my talents is finding good material. You have to start with that foundation, and the tunes that I choose, I think, have interesting qualities, and then I try to put a sound to it and make an interesting record.
Well, here's a very interesting record, a hit Herb had in 1966, Zorba the Greek. Did you ever wonder just how feature guest Herb Alpert gets that special sound of his?
Well, I've never tried to affect the sound. The sound that comes out of my horn is me. I mean, that's what you get. And when other people have tried to emulate the Tijuana Brass or my personal sound, they're just they're trying to copy the feeling, and you can't copy anyone else's feeling. They can copy the style, and the style doesn't really get it because I think it's the feeling that people connect with.
Well, whatever it is, it's a winning sound. And in 1967, Herb found a hit with it on A Banda. Our feature guest, Herb Alpert, has found it's best to be oneself.
I work on the sound. I used to try to copy my favorites years back. I tried to sound like Miles Davis and Dizzy Gillespie for a fleeting moment, and I realized that I wasn't going to get any place doing that. had to come up with my own style.
Feature guest Herb Alpert really got both feet into the music business when he was hired as a staff writer for Keen Records.
For $35 a week a piece, we were just a party to watching Bumps Blackwell, who was producing Sam Cooke records at the time, watching him work, working closely with Sam and just doing odds and ends there. And I really started to get intrigued with the record business. The idea of producing records became very intriguing to me because it felt like something that I could do if I applied myself and worked at it.
These are the great sounds. Feature guest Herb Alpert considers one of his biggest hits just an accident.
I think that was just a circumstance. You know, we were doing this television special. We adapted the lyric. Hal David made some lyric changes in it. And it was just one of those fluke things. You know, I wasn't planning on it being a single record. I didn't even think it was going to be on the album. It was just intended to be for that television special. But after the show, I mean, we were just inundated with requests to release it as a single, and it was one of those records. It just took off. I mean, it was 3 weeks later, it was #1.
And that chart topper was This Guy's in Love with You.
You see, this guy.
Feature guest Herb Alpert has recently been touring again, and he's been enjoying himself.
But I'm just going to go out there for me and make some music, and whoever wants to come and listen to it, terrific. And that's what I've been doing, and I've been having a ball. I mean, it's been fabulous. I mean, it's been standing ovations every night, and it's just been, it's been fun. It's been fun for me to play. I love to play with great musicians, and it's just been a great experience.
The great sounds. Feature guest Herb Alpert seemed to be musically typecast when he made a record in 1979 that was to be his biggest hit.
It felt to me like they were like unwilling to listen to what I was doing. They just kind of had me pigeonholed. And then when Rise came along, black radio just with open arms welcomed me. They liked the record. They didn't care what I had done in the past. They just said, hey, this is a nice record. It's a groove. Yeah, buddy, keep making those sounds, you know. And it was very beautiful. That they really started the ball rolling for me.
Rise by Herb Alpert.
The great sounds.
And we're going to have to rise and get out of here because we're fresh out of time for the great sounds for this week. We especially want to thank Herb Alpert for being our featured guest.